Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our MESAT Bulletin, and we shall start with our headlines. Suicide attack kills at least 6 civilians south of Baghdad. Trump names Pripyat and Bainan to senior White House roles. And moving on to our details, starting with the violence in Baghdad. A suicide bomber blew himself up in the sacred Shiite city of Karbala on Monday, killing at least 6 civilians. Interior Ministry spokesman said that a total of 6 bombers attempted to enter the city of Karbala from its western edges in the attack, but that security forces killed 5 of them. The spokesman added that the 6 broke into a house in the city's Ain al-Tamr area where he detonated his vest, killing 6 people and wounding another 6. From another aspect, Monday's events in Karbala came a day after a wave of attacks in and around Baghdad killed 23 people and wounded 70 others. On to Tehran, Iran's state TV is reporting that Iran and China have signed an agreement to hold joint military drills and cooperate in fighting terrorism. Iranian Defense Minister signed the agreement on Monday along with his Chinese counterpart. In addition to the joint military training exercises, the report said that Iran and China seek to create a collective movement to confront the threat of terrorism. From another aspect, the two nations have upgraded their military ties in recent years, with each country's naval ships visiting the other's ports. Moving on to Pakistani-Indian dispute, Pakistan's military says Indian troops fired on its soldiers in Kashmir on Monday, killing 7 of them and prompting return fire as officials warned that the tense standoff between the nuclear-armed rivals could escalate. Pakistani Defense Minister said the international community should pay attention. It can escalate. This could be catastrophic for the region. He added that Pakistani troops had also inflicted losses on the Indian army without elaborating. On the other hand, an Indian army officer said Pakistan had fired on Indian troops in a breach of the ceasefire and that they effectively retaliated. Going to the United States, President-elect Donald Trump made his first 2 key personnel appointments on Sunday by naming GOP Chief Reince Priebus as his White House Chief of Staff and Breitbart News executive Stephen Bainan as Chief Strategist and Senior Counselor. President Trump said Steve and Reince are highly qualified leaders who worked well together on our campaign and led us to a historic victory. Now, I will have them both with me in the White House as we work to make America great again. On the other hand, Priebus, announcing his appointment, said, "I am very grateful to the President-elect for this opportunity to serve him and this nation." Meanwhile, immigrants, their advocates, and others opposing a Donald Trump presidency continued to protest on Sunday, speaking out against the President-elect's support of deportation and other measures. More than 1,000 people joined the march in Manhattan that started mid-afternoon and extended into the evening. It was the latest in days of demonstrations across the country and even throughout the world. Protests were also held on Sunday in Los Angeles, San Francisco, Philadelphia, and more cities. Demonstrations also took place internationally on Saturday in Mexico and Berlin. On another front, Chinese President Xi Jinping reaffirmed the importance of relations with the United States in a phone conversation with President-elect Donald Trump on Monday. State media reports say Xi congratulated Trump on his election in their Monday talk and said cooperation was the only correct choice for China and the U.S., saying at present there is an important opportunity and huge potential in China-U.S. cooperation. It's worth mentioning that Trump had accused China of unfair trade practices and currency manipulation during the election campaign, threatening to slap a 45% tariff on all Chinese imports. On the other side of the world, Prime Minister Theresa May says Britain will be a global champion of free trade in a speech acknowledging that the election of Donald Trump and the UK vote to leave the European Union mark an era of profound world change. May made a major foreign policy speech on Monday at the annual Lord Mayor's banquet in London. She said that Britain must not be refusing to change and still fighting the battles of the past, but adapting to the moment. She also said free markets and free trade are the best way to lift people out of poverty. On another side, the pro-Russian politician has secured a clear win in a presidential race that many Moldovans hope will rekindle ties with Moscow, according to what near final results showed on Monday. With 99.9% of the votes counted, Igor Dodon won 52.3% of the vote, while the other nominee, Maia Sandu, had 47.7%. Moldovans celebrated Dodon's victory with fireworks early Monday in the semi-autonomous Gagauzia region. Moreover, the Socialist Party leader promised to be a president to all Moldovans and said he seeks good relations with the nation's neighbors, Romania and Ukraine. And moving on to our economic news, European shares opened higher on Monday after a mixed day in Asia, where Japan's benchmark got a boost from a weaker yen. France CAC 40 gained 1.3% to 4,545.64, while Germany's DAX added 1% to 10,782.58. Britain's FTSE 100 added nearly 1.1% to 6,806.52. US shares were also set for gains, with the futures adding 0.6% and S&P 500 futures up 0.5%. Japan's benchmark Nikkei 225 added 1.7% to finish at 17,672.62, and the Shanghai Composite rose 0.5% to 3,210.37, but most other Asian markets fell. And finally, the brightest moon in almost 69 years will be lighting up the sky this week in a treat for star watchers around the globe. The phenomenon known as the supermoon reached its most luminescent in North America before dawn on Monday. It will reach its zenith in Asia and the South Pacific on Monday night. Across the international dateline in New Zealand, it will reach its brightest after midnight on Tuesday local time. The moon will be at its brightest this week because it is coming closer to the Earth along its elliptical orbit than at any time since January 1948. And before ending our news, let's take another look at the most important headlines for today. Suicide attack kills at least 6 civilians south of Baghdad. Trump names Periplus and Bannon to senior White House roles. And we reach the end of our News Set Bulletin for today. Thank you for joining us and see you tomorrow in a new bulletin.